Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, Notre Dame fans, whatever time of the day you are tuning into this week's Notre Dame football show, Pod Like a Champion. For those listening via podcast, really appreciate you guys making us a part of your day. If you're live, watching back, whatever the case may be, got a great show lined up. I'll start by saying, yes, my co-host Tim Hyde is not here this week. Long story short, I have some family coming in town tomorrow. I couldn't do the show Wednesday. Tim couldn't do the show today. So I was like, all right, you know what, Tim, we've been doing the show every week for, several months in a row. Let's give you the week off. So we're doing a little bit of a bounce around show with some different topics from you guys. I tweeted and posted on the message board earlier today. Hey, post your Notre Dame football and recruiting questions for us. And we got some really good stuff. And if you're with us live right now, please go ahead and drop some questions in the YouTube chat. I'll be keeping an eye on it, and we'll try to answer as many as we can. Please hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to the channel for more content. Blueandgold.com is your home for all things Notre Dame football and recruiting coverage. Use that special offer. The promo code is UND1 for new subscribers, $1 for 2 months. We always have some kind of introductory one-offer deal for you guys going on. And I think the best one is for our YouTube and podcast audience, $1 for 2 months. So use that promo code UND1 and don't miss out on our offer. I see Bleedberg's in the chat. Michael, Adam, Jason, of course, my boy Jay Carr. Hope you all are doing well. Let's go ahead and bring on Tyler Horka, a Blue and Gold beat writer, for the first part of the show. Then we're going to bring in Kyle Kelly in the back half to discuss some Notre Dame football recruiting topics. Tyler, you doing good, man? Sorry about your Mavericks. But, they made the finals, man. They had a good run. But you doing okay, man?
Yeah, I don't know if we have too many Boston people in here. There's obviously that Notre Dame, Boston, luck of the Irish, Shamrock type connection. I don't think that runs too deep, but if there are any of y'all out there, Boston was the better team by far, and that was evident in 4 of the 5 games, obviously, and that's the NBA Finals. But I'm just, Kyle Kelly was actually sitting right here on my couch with me as we watched the Mavericks just obliterate the Celtics in game 4, I guess that was. So we'll always have that. We'll always have that.
And then people are talking about the Florida. You're also a Stars fan, and that one's not going too great either.
I have watched 75 seconds of that series because my heart was just ripped out and thrown on the floor, and I couldn't handle any more hockey. I was hockeyed out. I was heartbroken, really. And I will tell you, the 75 seconds that I watched, a former Dallas Star scored for the Edmonton Oilers, who obviously...
Oh, that's right, Oilers. Yeah.
Yeah, they just knocked the Stars out of the playoffs, and I was like, are you kidding me? These are the 75 seconds I watched. I mean, if I would have watched any more of that game, though, I would have seen a bajillion more Oilers goals. That was crazy. But, yeah, like you said, I think that's over tonight, too. They followed the same script, Mike. It was crazy. It was 3-0, right. The team down 3-0, kills the team up 3-0 in game 4, and then I think they're both over in 5. So there's script writers out there, right? Isn't that what people say? Conspiracy theorists?
I'm not much of a hockey guy. I like basketball, and I'm kind of with Bleberg saying the Euros are on, Copa America is on. I'm going to be next Thursday is United States Panama at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Your boy's going to be there. I'm super pumped.
How do you watch this? Because I've seen tweets, I've seen people go off on social media. How do I watch this? If
Fox, it's on Fox.
Okay.
I think I know the Euros are. I'm not sure about Copa America. I'm assuming it's Fox FS1 as well. Yeah. So like the Euros are. It's essentially like a World Cup, but it's only for European teams. Then Copa America is a few North American teams and all in South America. So 16 teams in the America. So
as you can tell, I'm like I'm a World Cup and that's it kind of guy. But I get really into it with the I guess Argentina won the last one, right? That was fun. Messi first World Cup. I get into that.
Yeah, the opener of. Well, all right, never mind. Well, we're 5 minutes in. Let's get to the show. But yeah, appreciate everyone being here. I see some comments on that I'm already queuing up. So if you guys have some things you want to ask Tyler, not so much on the recruiting side yet. We'll get to that with Kyle Kelly, but the current football roster. Post your questions. I'll be keeping an eye on them. But first, Tyler, I wanted to kind of give you the floor on your show that you're relaunching here at Blue and Gold, the Hey Horka show. Tell us about it. What's it going to be like? I will say real quick, this show's traditionally been on Wednesdays. It's been on Tuesdays a little bit here recently just due to some scheduling stuff, and then it's going to move, I think in July. I'm going to move my Wednesday show with Tim to Tuesdays permanently because I have baby classes from like 6:30 to 9:30 on Wednesdays for a few months. So my pregnant wife and I will be doing that on Wednesday. So you're going to slide into that Wednesday slot. Tim and I will be Tuesday. So yeah, tell us about your show. And if you want to tease your first guests on that show and your co-host.
Yeah, in the light of the NBA Finals just wrapping up, another time that the NBA Finals wrapped up, I believe 2012, LeBron James said something to the effect of "It's about bleep time." I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. I'll say "dang." He said another word. I don't. Can we say that on here, Mike?
I can say whatever you want, Tyler. I mean, as long as we don't get any nasty emails, it should be okay.
Yeah, it's about damn time that the Hey Horka show comes back. I think a lot of the people on here, we had some crossover watchers, obviously, Mike. All of us are fans of Blue and Gold, and during the season, I thought it was quite a hit.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, we were doing it at like Mondays at 3 or 4 p.m., and we were still getting a pretty wide audience. I'm excited that it's going to come back in a primetime slot because I always saw some comments there on the side. People were saying, man, if this was at 7, I'd be watching live. I'm watching back at whatever time. So yeah, Hey Horka, it's going to be the same type of layout where I like it because I really solicit our message board, Mike, at Blue and Gold, and I give those guys kind of the right of way to ask questions. And me and my new co-host, Jack Sobel, who's I think it's about damn time that he gets in on one of these videos too, because he's been with us a year now.
Yeah.
Going back to June of 2023. So he's going to be with me every step of the way. In the rare event that we get a big time guest on, like tomorrow night, we're going to relaunch with the big guest. I'll probably take those as like one-on-one interviews and then loop Jack back in for the second half of the show. So no better time to tell everyone that tomorrow night's guest for the relaunch of Hey Horka, we have Olivia Miles coming on the show. Notre Dame women's basketball superstar. Of course, she didn't play this past season because of an ACL injury, but I like to tell people this. If you just kind of got into Notre Dame women's basketball, which I know that there's a following that goes back decades now, but if you watched this past season, you were like, holy cow, Hannah Hidalgo is the face of this program, superstar. Olivia Miles was that for a couple of seasons before Hannah Hidalgo got here. Hannah Hidalgo is only a sophomore. It's hard to believe that Olivia Miles is already a senior, but when she comes back this season, Mike, she's going to be turning some heads. She was a triple-double machine before the injury. I think she's going to be a triple-double machine after the injury. So we'll have about 15, 20 minutes with Olivia Miles, and then me and Jack Sobel will kind of break down some Notre Dame football stuff. I was just reading through the Hey Horka thread just now before we got on, and we're going to have some really good questions to talk about that we've already got. So it's the middle of June, but Hey Horka, full swing, Blue and Gold, full swing, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, we always get great comments. People love hearing from Tyler on our videos, and when we have Tyler on a guest on our shows, and so we always get people asking about Tyler. People are very upset Tim's not here. When Mike is not on a video, no one seems to mind. Where's Goolsby?
That never happens. That never happens, though. Oh, I thought you were talking about yourself, Mike.
Oh, I am. People ask about Goolsby. Here. No one ever is like, "Oh, Singer's not on this video." Maybe it's because I'm on 99% of these damn things. These people are sick of seeing my face. But yes, Hey Horka. Hey Horka is back, so that'll be great. So during the football season, we will have live shows.
3 of them or 4 of them?
No, like
game
6.
days, like 5 or 6. Yeah,
6. We'll do Sunday night with Goolsby after a game.
Yeah.
I think we'll be off Monday. Tuesday night, me and Tim. Wednesday, you and Jack. Friday, well, Thursday it'll probably be me and Kyle because we do Friday recruiting show during the off season, but during the football season, since me and Kyle travel a lot on Fridays, we'll be doing Thursdays. Now, it might be difficult for your boy to be doing much traveling with a baby due in October. Really can't go much go many places, but might do some local trips. But yeah, so the recruiting show will be Thursday, post game show Saturday. So yeah, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 5. So yeah, 5. So that
and then we have all the
we'll be
supplemental
loaded.
content too, like Monday wrap ups.
Monday post.
We'll do a
Yeah,
Thursday post Freeman video. Or were we doing that? I don't remember.
yeah.
Are we
You and
doing?
Jack just doing those either
Yeah.
on here or
Mhm.
on a tripod after
All
on the
that to
Monday
say
one.
that the Blue and Gold YouTube channel is
Yeah.
the place to
Yeah,
be
I'll still
if
do my
you're a Notre
recruiting stuff
Dame
with
fan.
Darren on
Yeah.
I'll find a day of the week to record with Darren. So yeah, we'll be locked and loaded. All right, let's so yeah, that's the Hey Horka tomorrow, 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern. He's working on scheduling that with Olivia. So yeah, Irish fans, please check that out tomorrow. You did this article today. I wanted to talk about you guys are doing a countdown series from 100 days to down to 1 of hey, blank days until Notre Dame football. Today is 74. And you wrote making the case for Drake Bowen. Now you didn't just pick 74 and Drake Bowen out of a hat. You had a reason for 74. Tell us about this article you wrote.
Yeah, Drake Bowen played 74 defensive snaps as a true freshman, and I think that is just going to skyrocket, Mike. That's why I kind of built that article around Drake Bowen, because when I saw really what I do is I go to Notre Dame sent us like 150-page PDF of like end of season stats.
Yeah.
What I'll
Yeah.
do is I'll go in and Control F, Command F, whatever it is, and search the number. And
Smart.
sometimes I don't find it. Like, I don't think Notre Dame lays out snap counts. You have to go to Pro Football Focus for that.
Right.
So that's my next step. I went to PFF. I saw Drake Bowen played 74 snaps, and I was thinking, okay, the 600 that JD Bertrand played have to go somewhere. The 575, whatever it was, that Maris Leofau, both, by the way, NFL draft picks a couple months ago, 3rd and 5th rounders, they got to go somewhere. And Drake Bowen is literally right there next in line. But then I wrote that I think it's more than that with him, Mike. Like, it's not just, okay, you have Jack Kaiser and who else is it? Jalen Sneed or Kingston Villiamuasa? Like, who's the other linebacker? I think he's actually that good. And Max Bola, a quote that he told us, I think it was February. This wasn't even you know how we talk to all of these assistant coaches in the spring and they'll give their kind of cliche updates on how these guys are doing. Max Bola told us in February, because I think it was right when he got promoted to linebackers coach, like, hey, this Drake Bowen dude, he's playing baseball. He's doing all this stuff. He's a really good athlete, and we're going to use him. And then I'll tell you another quote that stuck out to me. I interviewed Al Golden one-on-one about a week ago. I want to say it was like 12 days ago, a couple Thursdays ago. And I asked him about the linebacker room. I said, what do you have there? And of course, he hyped up Jack Kaiser. But when he talked about Drake Bowen, he talked about this size. And I was like, you know what? That's true. Drake Bowen is a really big kid. And when you look at JD Bertrand, you said, big dude is never going to get overpowered. He's going to fill the gaps nicely. And I think we were able to watch Drake Bowen from the start of spring practices to the end of spring practices and say, okay, yeah, this guy's a guy who can play 50 to 60 snaps in any given game because he's durable, because he's sturdy, and he's going to hold up. So 74 snaps, Mike, he might get that in the first 2 games, man, because the Texas A&M game is going to be, I think it's going to be a grinded out type of game. Defenses are going to be on the field quite a bit. He might get 40 in that game, and then he's already halfway to 74. So I think he's going to be, and I know people want to talk about Jalen Sneed in his 3rd season, and Kingston Villiamuasa is the type of guy that can come in right away and be a difference maker. I think we're looking at a guy in Drake Bowen who's probably Notre Dame's 2nd best linebacker behind Jack Kaiser.
You joined our staff summer 2021, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember sending you out to Maryville, Indiana, to go watch Drake. So you've known him, about him since he would have been a junior. He was committed to Notre Dame as a junior, or he was a target at that point. I think he hadn't committed.
Yeah, I think that was his junior. It was the first game of his junior year.
Yeah,
and he
wasn't committed
yet. Running over people at running back. I think he committed.
So this is someone you've known for years now. At this point. I mean, obviously, Tyler's our beat writer at Blue and Gold. So Kyle and I cover recruiting. Tyler and Jack cover the team. but that was a rare crossover where you got to cover some
Mhm.
recruiting for us. So
It was
that's
cool.
actually pretty neat.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, he was more impressive as a running back that day, which is crazy, but, you know, as well as anyone, Mike, when you have an athlete like that, you let him play whatever, and if that's what's gonna win football games, that's what's gonna win football games. The cool thing about that game was Kenneth Grant was also playing, and is he still at Michigan, or did he go to the league yet? Like, those were 2 very
Yeah.
impressive dudes where I was like, "Okay, these guys are gonna be very good D1 football players," and I think Kenneth Grant would have been only 1 year, so he
Yeah.
might still be at Michigan, actually.
No, yeah,
Um,
he's still there.
yeah,
2025 guy.
very impressive player.
So you talked about Drake Bowen and 74 snaps. You can't write this. A question today, someone said, "What are the chances Gerby Lambert plays at least 75?"
75 was yesterday. Yesterday was 75 days till Notre Dame football, okay?
So do you think that
Yeah,
Gerby Lambert might
look,
see the field?
look, I think that offensive tackle spot is if you're looking I addressed this on the Hey Horka thread, so it's a little teaser for tomorrow night because we'll probably get into this then as well. Somebody asked me, like, what's the biggest question for Notre Dame going into 2024? And I said it's tough to answer that because you have micro questions and then you have macro. This is a micro question, and that offensive tackle spot is so intriguing to me. I think it's so hot button because is it Tosh Baker? I'm not sure. I think the jury's still out. He's the incumbent, obviously. He's the most experienced, but could it be Emil Wagner? I think he's the most, like, right now, athletically able. But is Gerby Lambert the one with the most potential? Like, you drop him in the summer, and is he one of your 2 best offensive tackles? That's the question that Joe Rudolph is going to have to answer. And if it's yes, he's going to hit 75 because I
Yeah.
think he might play a lot. What do
Okay.
you think?
Okay, so a couple things. I remember talking to a source. I think it was after the Blue Gold game. Lambert visited for the Blue Gold game, and my
Mhm.
source is like, "Holy crap. Like this guy is a freak show." We weren't even talking about, I was trying to, get some intel on, some recruits, and the source was like, "Gerby Lambert is an absolute stud." So my boy Charles Jagasaw, left tackle, that
Yep.
looks good. I'm with you. Emil Wagner seems to be the guy at right tackle. I don't know if that's a hot take or what it is. I think that he might beat out Tosh. So
Yeah.
it's just, does Lambert get that 75 of, knock on wood, someone goes down? Like,
I don't know why I haven't done this comparison maybe in a little bit of free time in the next, before fall camp starts, or maybe it's a fall camp like deep dive. What was the Blake Fisher situation in 2021 when he came in? Like, who were the other tackles? Why was it okay? He's going to start for sure because wouldn't you put Lambert on that same level as like a Fisher type recruit?
yeah, yeah.
Why aren't we
Fisher
talking about?
enrolled early. I
Yeah,
think
is that
that
the
gives
only
him a good
reason we're not
jump.
talking about Lambert is
Probably,
because he's coming in the summer?
probably. Yeah. Who were the tackles? 2021. Wish we had Tim here. Um,
Yeah, that was my first season, so I wish I had Patrick Engel
was
here. He
was
could
it
answer the question.
I
I'd have to
can't
look it
remember
up.
if, because I know Lug played on the outside, but then slid inside.
Mhm.
But I mean, that was obviously, if Blake Fisher doesn't go down, Joe Alt
Well,
doesn't play.
think about when Blake Fisher does go down. I think the guys that they tried was it not Andrew Kristofic,
Baker, I
Tosh
think it was
Baker,
Baker
and
to
then Joe Alt was number 3, I think.
Carmody. I want to say Carmody got a
Carmody.
look.
That's right. That's right.
Um,
I think Carmody is
I
right.
can't
Yeah.
remember who was the right tackle then. I'm sure
Kane Matt
someone
was no
is
Kane
gonna
Madden was
remind me.
guard, and they slid Lug out to
I
tackle
can't
because
remember.
Kane Madden came in, I think. Right? Kane Madden played right guard, right? The Marshall
Yeah,
transfer.
yeah, he's a guard. Might have
Yeah,
been
he
last. I
wasn't a
can't
tackle.
remember. Damn it, Tim. You're supposed to be here, but I'm sure the YouTube chat will remind us in a second, or we'll get
So
angry
I
YouTube
just
comments.
posed
But
that
anyways,
situation
Lug was right
because
tackle. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah,
yeah, Lug played right tackle. But like, okay, think of it that way. Like, if you plopped Gerby Lambert into that 2021 class, would it have been Fisher and Lambert playing tackle? Like, would he have automatically been better than Lug? And now the question is in 2024, is Lambert automatically better than Baker? and Wagner. I think it's actually possible. I'm a big Wagner proponent too. I've been
Yeah.
saying the sooner you start him, the better, because I think that he's a guy that's going to get better with time and snaps. But if Lambert is one of your two best tackles, you have to play him, and that'd be crazy because you have Jagasaw, who's made one start, and then Lambert is a summer enrollee and hasn't played at all. But that's kind of what Joe Rudolph, excuse me, is working with at offensive line. Somebody asked me on the Hey Horka. I'm not giving away all my secrets. Trust me, we have plenty of content for the Wednesday night show. But somebody asked me which assistant coach is under the most pressure in 2024, and I said Joe Rudolph.
Well, damn it, Arrow fan put this in my thread today too.
He's all over the place. Arrow thread. Hey, he's a good member of the board, man. He's all over.
Okay. All right.
Would you say how would you answer that?
I haven't thought about it.
Okay. That's my answer is Joe Rudolph.
But to me, it feels like he gets a little, not just a straight pass, but a little bit when you lose, Fisher and all, you have to rebuild.
Does Denbrock get a pass coming into a new offense? And like, if it doesn't go well, we're going to say, oh, well, it's because he's new. Cause I don't think people gave Jared Parker that same, and I know Jared Parker was here a season before that as tight ends coach, but still like he's a first year OC. Is he going to get a pass, or are people going to be hard on him if this offense isn't?
It's Notre Dame. Of course. They're going to want to fire him if they, kick a field goal in the first drive against A&M. I'm like,
Mark agrees with me. Mark with glasses agrees with me.
So. Well, Mark is a great guy. So I'm just going to go with what Mark said. No, I mean,
Max Bola's in his first year. Andy has a very young unit. I don't think you can throw a bunch of pressure on him. Al Golden is Al Golden. He doesn't have any pressure. He's going to coach a good defense. Mike Mickens the same.
I think I might go to Washington, and I'm going to ask this to Kyle Kelly.
I think Washington's in a good spot because everyone came back.
Right, which is why you might have a lot to prove. Like, you're because he's already kind of the scapegoat. I talked about this in my video with Darren earlier today. There's always a staff scapegoat. It's been Al Washington recently, so maybe I would go with him just because the fans just for whatever reason.
That's probably. Hey, look at our answers. It's all in the trenches. What does Marcus Freeman say? It all starts up front on both sides of the ball. And I say Rudolph and you say Washington.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be Notre Dame football if we weren't talking about O-line, D-line.
Yeah. See, Gino to me is not. Dylan, no. Mike Brown, maybe, but
yeah.
I don't know. So
Marty Biaggi. We have a Marty Biaggi reference from Ryan in the chat.
No, I'm okay there. Low key though, Marty Biaggi, I think is a pretty important member of this coaching staff. Like,
I think they showed a lot of
special teams coach, but he's helping out with the DBs for sure. Yeah. Like,
they showed some trust in him to do that too, and everyone talked highly of him. So,
okay, that is it. That's it, Tyler.
I'm saving all my vocal cords for Wednesday night.
All right, so 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. That's June 19th. Tyler is going to relaunch the Hey Horka show, and he's going to be doing it with Olivia Miles to start and then bring in Jack Sobel to talk some Notre Dame football. So that's going to be awesome. If you guys haven't heard of Olivia Miles before, you're going to love it. Notre Dame superstar for the women's basketball team, coming off that ACL injury, and prime for a big season. A big season. Triple-double machine. That's
backcourt in women's college basketball.
That's got to be a fun thing to cover. That team's got to be fun to cover.
I don't dread any night going to Purcell Pavilion, even when it's 20 degrees and there's snow on the ground, man. It's a good watch. It's a good team, good program.
Tyler, appreciate you being on tonight, man.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
All right. Let's hear from our sponsor over at Augie's Locker Room, which, of course, folks, has moved to that new location, 1733 North Ironwood Drive in South Bend, just right down the street from Notre Dame. So when you're in town, you got to make sure you stop in at Augie's Locker Room. They have the wide selection of Notre Dame Stadium pieces, jerseys, helmets, autographs, and one-of-a-kind Rockney items. You can find the exclusive Joe Montana signed items and famous sculptor Jerry McKenna's replicas of the bronze statues around the stadium. Augie gets new stuff in all the time. If he doesn't have it in his store, you guys have seen the jerseys behind Mike Goolsby. Augie helped get them there. So Augie's the guy. If you need a Notre Dame memorabilia guy, you need to find something. Give Augie a call, 574-277-6363, and he's going to go out and find it for you. If you're in town, head over to the shop, 1733 North Ironwood Drive, and see the vintage helmet display dating back to 1890, Augie's Locker Room.com. Folks, again, hit the thumbs up on this video. We are in a little bit of an intermission, just to give you guys a reminder of what we're doing for the show. We launched tonight with talking with Tyler Horka. He's got a show tomorrow night, talk some Notre Dame football, and now we're going to bring in my sidekick and my co-host for my Friday recruiting show. That's Kyle Kelly. We're going to talk some Notre Dame recruiting topics. We just talked Friday, Kyle. We're talking again this Friday, but you're kind enough to join us today. You doing well, my friend?
Yeah, man. Got up bright and early this morning. Been writing about recruiting all day. I'm pretty pooped, to be honest, with writing. So I'm glad to talk a little bit about Notre Dame football recruiting. Will help save the strain on my eyes and thinking of new and creative ways to say things. So yeah, always happy to hop on here and give my thoughts on football recruiting and maybe a little bit about the football team. I enjoy the conversation you guys had on the assistant coaches there right before I joined.
A question from Michael here, Kyle. It's from the YouTube comments. He says, question, we turned around quarterback recruiting. How can we turn around interior line recruiting? Now, I thought there was I saw an offensive or defensive line, but clearly not. So I don't know what line Michael is speaking of. I would assume D-line here. I mean, how can you turn it around? If you think it needs to be turned around, it needs to just have better players. I mean, I don't know what else, how else to answer that question. But I mean, you look at the interior D-line they have right now, it's pretty damn strong. And I think they've got some, Gabriel Rubio coming back is going to help, but I think they've got some good young depth pieces as well to kind of build towards the future. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, if there was a position off the top of my head that I think is a weak spot in Notre Dame's 25 recruiting class, if you just go by the rankings, it would be the interior of the defensive line. Davian Dixon, even though he's got offers from pretty much the majority of power conference schools, Ohio State and Georgia both came after him after his Notre Dame commitment. Yeah. He's ranked like within the 700s. So, that slots toward the bottom of Notre Dame's class. I know you and I both feel, or at least I do, I think you feel the same way, that Davion's a much better player than where he's ranked. So I can understand it from that aspect. And then in the 24 class, just going off the top of my head, I know Cole Mullins, he's trying to make the transition from linebacker to defensive tackle. So that's going to be going to take some time in order to put on the weight necessary and things like that. In 23, I know Armel Mukum has slotted into the interior of the defensive line. He's coming off of shoulder surgery. So I can kind of understand, I think it was Michael's point there. Those are just some of the names off the top of my head. All those guys, 3-star recruits. I can't remember where Armel finished, but yeah. I do kind of reason with him because I think there's been times throughout these last few recruiting cycles we've been wondering where the big time, highly rated recruits are in the defensive line, especially because Notre Dame's head coach Marcus Freeman is constantly talking about Notre Dame being an offensive line, defensive line driven program. So I'm kind of with him there. And just real quick to touch on, if he did mean interior offensive line, not worried about that one at all. I think they had a really good 24 class on the interior between Peter Jones, who's a great guard prospect. Then there's 2 4-star offensive tackles who can play guard in Styles Prescott and Anthony Knapp. And then jumping a year further to 2026, where they're going to be refocusing on the interior of the offensive line. They had 2 interior O-linemen from Michigan, both highly rated 4-star players on campus today, and Gregory Patrick and Ben Nichols. And connected with both those recruits earlier before the show, and Notre Dame hit it out of the park with both those guys. So, yeah, that's my long-winded answer there.
Should I just do a prediction for Ben Nichols and Notre Dame? I mean, it seems like it's just going to happen. Do I just have the sack to do it? Sorry for cussing. Yeah, you like that pick? Should I just do it?
I mean, I've been with you on it. I wanted to see how this latest swing of visits went. I think Ohio State could be interesting now that it just offered.
Yeah.
But listen to this, man.
Okay.
Ben Nichols is one of the best offensive linemen in the entire country. And he's in Ann Arbor, Michigan's backyard. He went to Michigan this summer. He camped at Michigan and won offensive line MVP. They didn't even offer him, which is absolutely bogus to me. I've seen Ben Nichols at the Under Armour camp at the end of April. I thought he looked terrific. I love where he's slotted in On3's rankings. I mean, the number 2 prospect in Michigan, and the Wolverines haven't offered him after being on campus a number of times. So, hey, man, Notre Dame just going to clean up in the Wolverine state, the Great Lakes, or the Great Lakes state. Sorry, I mean, I was talking to Gregory Patrick before this call, and he was telling me how him and Ben were hanging out today with all the Notre Dame offensive linemen, and including Rocco Spindler, who chose Notre Dame over Michigan.
And Ohio State.
Yeah, Gregory's another guy that's really high on Notre Dame. I asked him, I said, could you see you and Ben playing on that Notre Dame offensive line? He's like, I mean, we're both going through different processes and things like that, but Gregory's become really good friends with Ben. And I think they could see themselves playing together. And if you made me pick where both these guys are ending up as of today, I feel pretty confident that both these guys end up at Notre Dame as things stand on June 18th, 2024.
Yeah, sorry for laughing there. I was just cracking up. The YouTube chat just it has me giggling over here, dude. All right.
Well, they should have a heyday with Michigan, man. That's crazy to me. For not offering Ben Nichols. I mean, how can that kid be right in your backyard, go to your camp, win offensive line MVP? He might even been MVP of the entire camp, and they didn't offer him. Maybe Ben Nichols didn't report the offer or something, or I don't know, but I just can't get over that.
Something I can't get over. This tweet, I won't have the audio turned on for it, but for folks listening via podcast, just have to let my description of it guide you. But Goolsby tweeted out, "This is far from the Notre Dame recruiting we're accustomed to," and is a quote tweet of a video that a Notre Dame fan tweeted out, who I actually know this guy pretty well, who tweeted this out. He's a friend. So this was it was a screen recording of Justin Thurman's Instagram Live. And you have Derek Meadows and the whole crowd. This is during his official visit to Notre Dame. The whole crowd is filled with, parents, I'm sure some coaches, recruiting staffers, the other official visitors, and they're chanting, "We want Meadows." I mean, first of all, this scene where it looks like, a freaking EDM party or something, this looks awesome. I don't know if me and Kyle would, fit in there, but this looks great. I think the kids loved this. And then just to show all that love to Derek Meadows when he's literally up on stage doing a photo shoot, I think that this was pretty neat. I always like your take on things, Kyle, because you look at things differently from me. I'm interested to see what you have to say about this.
I think it's a big deal. I do.
Okay.
Because when I talked to Derek Meadows' dad, one of the first things that he told me about the official visit was this production here. And I think they really felt the love from Notre Dame. And I think for each recruit, you kind of have to reach each guy differently and try to put on whatever works to resonate with the recruit. And I think just based on what we're seeing here, a bunch of Notre Dame commits and their families decked out and neon green and Derek Meadows up there. And it's not like they're just partying and everything. They're chanting that they want Meadows like a bunch of Notre Dame fans.
Yeah.
And, I've talked to a couple of Notre Dame commits over the last couple of days, and they've all told me they feel pretty confident here. So I'll take their word for it. I'm going to see how things shake out over the next 2 weeks. I feel like I keep copping out, with that answer. But, these recruitments are so fluid, especially during official visit season. And when you got a guy as highly touted as Derek Meadows. So, I think that was a big deal to have that appreciation. And I know Derek Meadows is feeling the love for sure.
All right, Kyle. I'm going to make a long story short here. Notre Dame's got 21 commits. Here's what they're currently still recruiting. 4 receivers: Meadows, Nook Hines, J.A. Hall, and Dylan Robinson. They're done everywhere else on offense. Yeah, done everywhere else on offense, unless something were to change. D-line, they're done. Linebacker, it's Nathaniel Usu-Boateng and or Madden Farimo. Safety, Jadon Blair. That's it, right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
They could take – I think they'll end up around 25, 26 guys. It could be 27. I think it's going to be 25 or 26. I can make a case that Notre Dame leads for every single one of these guys. Every single one of them. Now that Jameer Joseph's off to Penn State, like every player left on the board, like I wrote up, our boss really wanted us to write it's a really good story, like here's who could commit next article. That always pops off. I'm thinking to myself, it's really hard to choose. So I just went with guys who I think are leaning towards Notre Dame plus guys who could commit soonest. That's why I didn't include Derek Meadows in the article because he's committed in September. I think everyone else is going to come off the board sooner than that. But yeah, dude, I think Notre Dame leads for Meadows. I think Notre Dame leads for Dylan Robinson. I think Notre Dame leads for Nook Hines. I think they might lead for John Anthony Hall. They just started recruiting him. I think that cat might be a little bit different. Like maybe he ends up at a Purdue. Like, he's a basketball player. I don't know if it's got Notre Dame has the same, draw to him. That's just my 2 cents. I could be totally wrong. I think of this group we're talking about, I think they have the best chance with Madden Farimo, which is a big deal. Nathaniel Usu-Boateng is a little bit more difficult to read, but I still think the Irish might lead there. And I think they lead for Jadon Blair, the elite safety from North Carolina. It's a great time, dude. I mean, it's very exciting. Tim Hyde a couple weeks ago was, understandably so, poo-pooing. Tim, if you're listening or watching this while you're doing the dishes, hello, Tim. But yeah, he was poo-pooing receiver recruiting. This is not looking great, but with the caveat that if they do land these guys, it's going to be great. If they had to go into senior year film and evaluate more guys and do some more offers, it makes you nervous a little bit. But, there's some optimism right now. I think there's a lot of reason to be excited with receiver recruiting and just the way they can finish out this 2025 class.
They got to close, though. They can. I know. So, right now, if you made me say who I think they get next, I think it's Madden Farimo and Nook Hines. That's my gut feeling on where things are trending with both those guys and the types of timelines that they have. I know Michigan made a big move with Jadon Blair this weekend based off reporting from our Steve Wiltfong on three's vice president of recruiting and transfer portal. Steve's the best in the biz, so I'm going to trust his reporting there. So it'll be interesting to see, especially in Jadon Blair's recruitment, how he reacts after these post-visit highs are in the rearview mirror, because he's going to have about 2 weeks to really let things set in. He's seen it all at every school. He's really seen it all at Notre Dame. And then he's going to have to make a decision. I think we felt for a long time, for the last couple months, that Notre Dame's going to be the pick for him. I'm a little more cautiously optimistic on Derek Meadows. But yeah, this is it, man. This is a final stretch. This is what Chad Bowen and his staff has worked for. They put themselves in this position every year to get the class closed and wrapped up early before football season, and we got to see if they can do it.
Yeah, and it should be mentioned, Ivan Taylor. I didn't include him. because he's technically committed, but very much just seems like he's an uncommitted player. But I wrote in the gold standard. Sorry, Kyle.
Sorry, you can go ahead on Ivan, and then I'll share some of my comments briefly.
You know, I wrote in my gold standard article Monday that I'm not feeling that optimistic, and I do view him as an uncommitted recruit. But from the past 36 hours since I wrote that article, maybe it was a little bit less, but with the NFL tweet and that blowing up with the 3 former Steelers players and their sons all in the Notre Dame jerseys and all of the feedback, because we've been writing articles and, the guys talking about Ivan Taylor, you put out that tweet where Ethan Long was talking about his best friend and Ivan quote tweets it. Ethan quote tweet. It just seems like there's more building. I feel like there's a little bit of momentum for Taylor to stick just in the past day. That's not something that I'm like talking to sources about. That is very much something I have a gut feeling, and just from observing this. Now he's at Florida right now, and then he goes to Michigan this weekend. But I don't know, man. I'm just I feel like he just might end up sticking. There's more a long way to say this. There's more of a family feel for him at Notre Dame. There's more of a family feel at Notre Dame, even though Chris O'Leary's not there. Those commits, he's very tight with. I'll post a story tomorrow, Kyle, from my interview with Davion. No, did I already write the Davion Dixon story? I can't remember, man. Well, hold on. Let me look.
Yeah, while you're looking that up, I'll just say that the commits I've talked to, including Ethan Long, who is Ivan Taylor's best friend in the class, they're unanimous in thinking he sticks.
Yeah.
And they're confident too.
They are.
It's not like, I think it's like as soon as I ask him, no, he's locked in. I was like, gosh, it surprises me because, we have the outside viewpoint of it. And, I think that we just, based on history and because, usually when Notre Dame commits visit elsewhere, at least over the last couple of years, they end up at those schools. I mean, Sean Terry's even the latest example of it. He was in Notre Dame's class, visited Missouri in the spring. Him and Notre Dame part ways, and now I think Terry might be trending Missouri. So it's just the way those things shake out sometimes. But everyone I talk to, man, from the commits, it's just they all think Taylor sticks.
All right, I definitely transcribed that article. I can't find it, but anyways, Davion Dixon, Notre Dame's D-line commit, was really just saying, yeah, he's not going anywhere. Like he was pretty confident. So, like with what you're saying. So, I think that's pretty great. But we'll see. Like you said, Kyle.
We'll see.
They got to close. You want me to pop this up here? So this was Ike Taylor, of course, former Steelers defensive back, and the father of Ivan Taylor, tweeted yesterday, tagging or quote tweeting Ryan Clark, saying, "I'm mad you didn't keep nephew," talking about Jordan Clark, back a year, which is essentially saying, I'm mad that Ivan won't get to play with Jordan Clark next year. Is that something? Is that nothing? I don't know. We'll let you guys.
I'll tell you what, you would rather see that tweet than not see it.
Yeah, for sure. On the topic, Enforcer said, if Taylor decommits, do you think Ethan Long does too, since they are best friends and maybe they want to play together?
No, Ethan told me that even though he was pretty hurt by O'Leary and or O'Leary leaving, that he had to take some time to really process that after this weekend's official visit, he's completely locked in, shut down to Notre Dame. And, he's kind of even really told me that basically that Ivan Taylor has the option to pave his own path if he wants it. And Ethan's going to support whatever Ivan Taylor does. And if that is going elsewhere, then he's going to support him. But Ethan Long is not going to go follow him.
Okay. Question here. I don't know about this username, firm but soft. I don't know. What does that mean? But Firm But Soft says, as a recruit, who's the more exciting prospect, CJ Carr or Deuce Knight? Which I believe is also the title of this video, but it's Kyle. It's to me.
It's a no-brainer. I mean,
Oh, okay.
no, it's Deuce, man. When you see what this
Okay.
guy, like, if you just want to break down, like, just in terms of exciting as a prospect, it's Deuce Knight. What this guy can do on the basketball court, what this guy can do on the track and field. I mean, Deuce Knight is one of the most exciting prospects I've seen and come across in a while. I mean, I know that even the On3 Elite page, they featured him on like one of their I forget the segment they have on Twitter. But he was one of their first features because Deuce Knight is just ridiculous and he's exciting. Yeah. And that is not to that's not to talk down on CJ Carr, because I'm really high on CJ Carr. I was the first one to tweet after his first spring practice that CJ Carr looked different, and he had a heck of a spring. And I'm really confident about the future of CJ Carr at Notre Dame. I think he's going to take them places that Notre Dame has never been before. But if we're just talking about exciting recruits, I think my answer is most definitely Deuce Knight.
All right. The YouTube chat is in agreement with you as well. I'm going to play a little bit of a devil's advocate. As a recruit, who's the more exciting prospect? If we're talking about more exciting athlete, hell yeah, it's obviously Deuce. But what if that question was even phrased, who's the more exciting quarterback? Like, who's more exciting quarterback prospect? Like, who are you more excited about at Notre Dame, CJ Carr or Deuce Knight? Because CJ Carr had a tremendous bowl practice and spring ball. Like, he looked really good. There is a world where he is your starter in 2025 as a redshirt freshman, / true sophomore, and starts for a while. Like, there is a lot of excitement about CJ Carr as well. So I would probably go with Deuce more just because of that upside. Like, the guy wakes up and runs a 4.5. Like, he's a very special talent. But CJ Carr, he is so polished, so good, like so advanced for where he's at as a quarterback at his age. It feels like he's been around forever. He's just going into his freshman year. He should be at prom last month, and he feels like an already established figure in the Notre Dame quarterback room. So I would give Carr a shout though, but yeah, I get it. So Jay Carr says it's Steve Angeli. Your words, not mine. But that's my take on it. But yeah, so more exciting. Carr's or Knight's a more exciting prospect, but like, especially from an athlete standpoint. But I think you make an argument that some people like Carr, some people like. I was gonna go to, I don't know, just like two different meals. Like, do you like? I lost Kyle. Do you like pizza or do you like pasta better? I don't know. I like them both. A little bit different. I like them both. They're both great. Or maybe like, do you like pizza or do you like a good burrito? They're different, but they're both equally amazing. I don't know. That's kind of my take. So, do you have any follow-ups, Kyle, or do you want to? We got one more.
Hit me.
Okay. This is from Arrow Fan that we talked about earlier. Which assistant coach has the most to prove this season? I talked about this with Tyler. I know you heard what we had to say. What do you think?
So I actually really liked what Tyler said about Joe Rudolph. I'm kind of on the same wavelength with him there. But I'll tell you that my gut reaction was when I saw this question was Mike Brown. And the reason being that Notre Dame wide receivers, they need to take a big leap this year, like a really big leap compared to what they were in the years past. Like basically the summary out of Marcus Freeman's private press conference or I want to call it a press conference, but when he met with a group of beat reporters in early spring, the kind of the thing coming out of that meeting was that they felt like they failed Sam Hartman. And there was a combination of factors there. Maybe fail is not the right word, but they didn't put Sam Hartman in the best position to succeed. And I think a big part of that was the wide receivers. They had some really bad injury luck there, but Chancey Stuckey was the fall guy for that group. Chancey Stuckey was a great recruiter. He brought in a really great 23 class. Now that doesn't matter because two of them, Rico Flores and Braylon James, they left and they're elsewhere. In 24, he wasn't the primary recruiter for Cam Williams, but still played a role in getting him in the class and others. And I think he had a pretty good head start in the 25 cycle, outstanding relationship with Derek Meadows. And Freeman, he decided to part ways with Stuckey and instead didn't even really do a whole wide receiver search. They instead brought Mike Brown aboard, a guy that's worked with Freeman in Cincinnati, someone he's super familiar with. And, he's going to have a really experienced group of wide receivers this year. Even though Jaden Thomas didn't play a lot last year because of his hamstring, he's still seen a lot of snaps in a Notre Dame uniform. Then you have the three graduate transfer guys between Bo Collins, Jaden Harrison, and the guy from Florida International, Chris Mitchell.
Yeah.
So this group, they got to take a big step up, especially with the offense that Mike Denbrock wants to run. This isn't the ground and pound Notre Dame of the past anymore, and this is something I've heard in talking to recruits and their parents over the last several weeks in their meetings with Notre Dame. This is going to be more like a spread and air raid offense. Notre Dame is going to pass the football a lot more. This is going to be a lot different offense. In order to run that offense successfully, you need guys that can catch the football. So that's why I'm going with Mike Brown for my answer.
Okay. All right. My two thoughts were Brown and Wash. I still kind of give a pass to Rudolph because your two NFL draft picks at tackle are gone, and you're replacing them with potentially, a true freshman and a sophomore. Not a full pass, but a little bit. But yeah, Mike Brown, really interested to see what his receiver room looks like. And then, Wash, just because he gets so much. I like Wash. I think he does a really good job, and I think the proof is in the pudding last year. That D-line was pretty stout. But, I know that he's one that the fan base talks about a lot. So, all right, that is going to go ahead.
Real quick, Mike, I just want to say for the record, I think that Mike Brown is going to really get the best out of these guys this fall. It's like one of those things, like no pressure, no diamonds. I think Mike Brown's going to thrive under this pressure because he's got a really dang good group. Even though there's been a lot of turnover, I think that we can feel pretty confident about this wide receiver core going into the season. They got a great combination of veterans and young guys. I think they're going to be able to rotate and play a lot of players, and hopefully it ends up working out with them, and they can successfully run the offense that they're looking to.
Yeah. For what it's worth, when Brown was hired, I was told he was kind of an opposite of Stuckey. Stuckey was known as a dynamic recruiter, like a really good recruiter, but didn't have a ton of – the guy played in the NFL, but he didn't have a ton of experience as a wide receivers coach, like at the college level. Brown is a little bit different. I don't know if Brown is a dynamic recruiter. I don't think I would call him that yet. But on the field, like, terrific coach. And so that's what I was told when he was hired. What was that, December, January? So I'm with you on that. So Kyle, my friend, I know you got an interview to do with the recruits. So I'll let you go do that, my friend. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Mike.
All right, so that's Kyle Kelly. So if you're just joining us, we brought on Tyler Horka at the beginning of the show and talked some Notre Dame football, and then brought in Kyle Kelly for the last half hour. So that is it for this week. Tim Hyde was out with he just couldn't do tonight, and I couldn't do tomorrow night. So Tim couldn't host the show without me, but I can host the show without Tim. So really thankful for Tyler and Kyle for hopping on tonight. Folks, please hit the thumbs up on this YouTube video. If you're listening via podcast, leave us a kind review wherever you listen to your podcast. Tim and I will be live most likely next Wednesday. Just follow me on Twitter at Mike T. Singer. I'll keep you guys posted there. Tomorrow night, Tyler Horka and Jack Sobel will have their live show. Olivia Miles, star Notre Dame women's basketball player, will be joining the show. And then Kyle and I will be live Friday afternoon. So please plan to join us Friday for that show. Appreciate you all. And as always, we will catch you next time.